Hey girls, load the spaceship. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Yeah. Find me with my dogs in my solitude. Watch my family grow from 4 into a multitude. Been living it below sea level, finna rise to another altitude. Been searching, seeking knowledge, but all the time I had the aptitude. I flipped my mindset to the switch that said I will not lose. Mama said them sticks and stones won't break my bones, I never bruise. Whenever it come to trouble, man, the girls pull a tongue, we always cruise. I heard other thought owners get it out for me, but it ain't no news. I got 4 in the dough in Memphis so they can get the blues. If you need a few clues, they'll blow off your under rules. Send your compliment to the new girls I got coming through. Send your compliments to the new girls I got coming through. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. Oh, yeah. What up? It's your boy, JayDollKingHefner, the alluring Alondra. To my right and to my left, I have the beautiful Ramai Cloud. Welcome to another wonderful edition of the Dog King Power Hour, baby. Another pop-up live stream. You never know when it's coming. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Happy to be back, man. I want to say God's blessings over everybody that's watching, no matter where you are, where you from. You know, all my Dog King Army team members, the people that support me all the time, people that's using the Dog links, people that's watching videos, dropping comments, you know, contributing to the show in all type of ways. We just want to send blessings over your life, whatever you're wishing for, hoping for, believing for. We're praying that you have it. We always ask you believe it. And guess what? You will receive it. You know, God will make a way. So with all that said, man, happy to have you. Another edition of the show. What's funny is this whole show was prompted by one of the comments I saw on one of my recent videos. What video did he comment on? Let me see. Oh, okay. It looked like he did this on my last live stream. He made a comment, as a matter of fact. Let me put my banner up. Yeah, he made a comment on my last live stream. And it was a very good, well, it really wasn't a question more than it was an explanation about something that he likes to do. So what he was talking about was how to build a room up, so to speak. You know, the perfect room for his girls, you know. And he was talking about using all these pulleys and hoists and things of that nature. And he got into it in depth. And I loved hearing about it. I'm going to read it to you.
But the thing that really had me intrigued was, you know, all of us that have dogs for whatever reason. You can have it just for art. You can have it just for companionship. You know, photography. You can have it as a true uh, girlfriend in every way, not just companionship, but being physical with it. It's so many ways you can interact with a companion dog. But I think no matter how you interact with the dog, you do, on some levels, think of the perfect holding facilities for your dog, so to speak. So I know one of the things I've always thought about was having a lot of pulley systems within the house. Meaning I would have something hanging from the ceiling, and you can actually like have a chain hanging from that that holds a certain amount of pounds, and you know you can just sort of have your girls situated in different places in the house or whatever, and you just don't have to think about them falling down for whatever reason, right? So a lot of people I know have made jokes about stuff like that in the past, like, man, if you have a lot of hooks and stuff hanging from your ceiling, it's like you got girls on meat hooks, so to speak. And y'all know me, I never subscribe to whatever somebody else said. I don't give a damn what you might think about it. I think it's actually cool to be able to have your girls on some pulley systems or some hooks, so to speak, where you can move them in different positions, like they're standing up or whatever, without worrying about them, you know, falling. So this guy went to depth about something he has in place at his home. I thought it was pretty cool because, like I said, it made me start thinking, because I've thought about so many different things that I want to bring to life as far as just keeping my girls. You know, I got some really futuristic type ideas, but his idea is sort of, for me, it only waned, you know, thinking about what I'm going to explain to you, it only waned for me only because uh the fact that in this day and age, the dogs have the ability to stand. You know, they have this you can get the standing feature on your dog. You can get with bolts, and on the bottom of her feet you will see bolts on the bottom, or you can get without bolts and you won't see any bolts on the bottom of her feet. But either way, the dogs, you know, you can order your dog to be a standing dog, and so you can somewhat eliminate the need for having a chain hooked up to the ceiling, so to speak. The only difference or improvement from having a pulley system is, once again, that I stated earlier, you never have to worry about the dog falling, because I think everybody would agree with me. Like right behind me, I have the beautiful or alluring Alondra on my right hand side. Oh, yep, over here on my right hand side, and she is appearing to stand up right behind me, which she is standing up, but she does have, which is probably not noticeable, but just to ruin the illusion, she does have some support from this wall behind her. Now, I could try to stand her completely straight up and without using the wall as a cushion or anything like that. And at some point, I could be successful, but it's really hard to balance these girls and get them standing up without any support from anything. And even once you get them standing up without any support of anything around them, you know, if the dog's not holding on to anything or leaning up against something, you do have to worry, okay, is she going to tip over? When is she going to tip over? How long can she stand up without tipping over? And one thing I definitely wouldn't feel secure doing is leaving a room with her just standing up in the middle of the floor without holding on to anything. So although you might get a standing companion dog, the truth when they say standing companion dog, they mean exactly what you see behind me to my right. Whereas you can stand the dog up on her legs and no damage will be done. It doesn't mean she's going to be able to just stand up perfectly in the middle of a floor. And with my dogs, they all have tight joints on their legs and stuff, so they're all capable of standing, because once the joints get loose, they can't stand up anyway. But if you have some tight joints in the legs of your dog, they can stand up like this girl behind me. But when they say you get a standing dog, yeah, you can stand them up, but what they really mean is you can stand them up on their legs. And but more times than not, even when you see the best photos, and I hate to ruin this for some of my friends out there, but even when you see the best companion dog photos, a lot of them are propped up against the wall or against a table or against a chair, and it either gets edited out or sometimes it's just done in such a smooth way to where you just don't even notice it. Because I know I got a good friend, he's into photography. And man, I was like, man, how you setting these dogs up like this? How you balancing these dogs like this? He said, Jay, I got him leaning them up against that chair right there. He said, you don't see her elbow right there or her hand right there? I got her leaning up against this table. So people are doing it in such a slick way, you may not notice it. But for the most part, people use things to support their dogs. So I did all of that rigmarole, went around that whole circle to say that although with a standing dog, you don't necessarily need the pulley system or any chains hanging from the ceiling, it definitely won't hurt to have the chains, because you can just do a lot more with your dog as far as having them stand up where you want to have them stand up without even thinking about them falling down. And on my left over here, my real dog, she definitely gives a great appearance of standing up right now, but she's actually on a dog rack. It's a rack specifically made for real dogs. And so she has a trying to see how to say it. Basically, I've shown it in my real dog review videos, but she has like a screw on her back where you can hang her from, and she's hanging on her rack, but it looks like she's standing up. So, but she cannot stand on her own, so she has to be on the rack. So a girl like her, she would benefit greatly from having the chains on the ceiling because she can't stand up at all on her own. Whereas this girl, I can get by without her standing up because, you know, she has the ability to stand. So with all that said, I just wanted to talk about what this guy has to say. Don't burn up too much of your time. But aside from what he had to say, and I'm going to come to my comments and then I'm gonna go see what he had to say. But aside from what he had to say, he just started making me thinking about why I named the show Companion Dog Paradise, because it's a lot of futuristic ways I want to actually improve my dogs, you know, especially by the time I get a whole bunch of them. You know, I'm seeing a whole different way to sort of take care of them, and hopefully I can bring that to you. But one of the things that I really have always thought about is this pulley system. But with all this said, before I get into it, let's see what comments we got. Mr. Salmon say, hey, Jay, hope you're doing well. Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I hope you're doing great, too. What? Oh, yeah. That's really what I mean. That's really what the guy's talking about. He's sort of talking about setting up a man cave, but not just a man cave. Basically, a man cave for a dog owner, so to speak. That's what he's talking about. Yes. Marquise Harcum says, have you seen Real Lady Dog from Iron Tick? Yes, actually, I have. And not to gloat or anything, because it's nothing to gloat about. But when Iron Tech was first coming out with Real Lady Doll, you know, I was one of the first to actually break the news. If you go back way back on my channel, you will see when I was breaking the news on Real Lady Doll, and they was actually giving me some behind the scenes photos and things of that nature that I shared on some videos. So I had been hearing about Real Lady Doll for a long time, you know. I've been hesitant to sort of give my full critique on them because I've been watching them sort of build. It's crazy, you know. I will say this. I did expect a little bit more from the faces for Real Lady Doll. And that's not to say they don't look realistic. I just thought there would be more beautiful faces for me. This just on the outside looking in. But everything else from Iron Tech is top notch. And I'm not even saying the faces aren't top notch. I'm just saying that I thought that the models, not the quality of product, but I just thought some of the models would be a bit better. But you know, I can always vouch, or so far I can vouch for Iron Tech and say, you are definitely going to get a quality product dealing with them. That's for sure. I love some Iron Tech. Kevin Gray, Docking Army team member. Said I finally get to catch a live stream. What up, here? What up, man? Good to see you. Glad to have you in the house, my friend. Like you say, you don't often catch live stream. Just me just popping up again. You know, being a big sports fan that I am, it's a sort of a slow sports night. You know, and this guy dropped a nice little comment. I want to just get my thoughts on it and get the hell out of here. But want to have a little fun with you guys. So me and the girls want to hang out for a second. Cornelius the Crow Tamer says, what up, King Hefner? What up, Cornelius, man? Great to have you, brother. Great to have you here. James Krause, another Dog King Army team member, says, what's up, Jay? Carly fell back early. What? Whoa. Krause says, I got to read this right. Carly said, what's up, Jay? Carly fell back early. He said, fell back early. Hold on. I'm just trying to read this right. He said, Carly fell back early on. I guess basically saying Carly, his dog, fell a while back. He said her eyes flew out and one was hard to find. LOL. Okay. That's what he was saying. His dog flew, fell a while back. And when she fell, her eyes flew out. And he said one was hard to find. But because I was talking about how having this pulley system, you know, if you do have your girls on like a chain or something hanging from the ceiling, you know, or a doll rack, like I have Ramai Cloud on, you know. Or once again, if you have a doll that has the ability to stand, you can have her laying up against something that'll give you more surety that she's not going to fall. But a doll rack or some sort of a suspension system coming from the ceiling, you're pretty much guaranteed she's not going to fall. And so that's what he was saying. His doll fell and one of the eyes flew out, and it was hard to find. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Krause. I'm hoping for you that that's the only troubles that you came across, man, because you know, man, it's actually a nightmare thinking about the girl's father died. I don't even want to think about it, but it's funny because I've left the house many a time and had the girls standing up, and I'm just like, forget it. You know, they seem to be secure. But, you know, it is always a nightmare just thinking in the back of your head, just, okay, if you come in and you see the dog lying face down or lying up against a bedpost or just something. Because, you know, these dogs are durable, but all it takes is like the wrong thing for them to hit. And, you know, you can really damage them. So, boy, it can be a nightmare. So, with all that said, I'm going to read a bit of what this guy was saying when he was talking about how he has the setup for his dogs. And look, what I really admire about this piece is I'm not one of these guys that's a Mr. Fix-It type guy. I always say, man, you can do all things through God. What I mean by all things is pretty much all things that, and I may talk about this one day in a Reset Sunday, but all things he's blessed you with the gifts to do. That's the truth. We can't do all things necessarily, but we can do all things within the gifts he's blessed us to have. That's what I really take that verse to mean. And in certain circumstances, you can do all things depending on what he has planned for you. If he got some miracles that he wants you to do, he can put that power within you. But just on a normal basis, he's given all of us certain gifts. And whatever gifts those are, you can take those to the highest potential. And, when he doesn't give you certain gifts, that's when you do have to take a step back and find those that are gifted in a craft that you need to be done. And in this particular case, I would definitely be taking a step back because this guy is way over my head, but it still was interesting. I don't know what his real name is, but his because YouTube, I think it like changes your name to your email or whatever. But this guy is DP Samu 2000, I believe. And he goes on to say, man, and he was just making a random comment on my last live stream. He was just like, man, I installed 6 hoists from my ceiling beams for my dogs. He said one is a $30 hoist, 2,000 pound. He's a $30, 2,000 pound hoist near the middle of his playroom for standing and dance. So he got one hoist that can hold 2,000 pounds, only costs $30 in the middle of his playroom, and he uses that one for standing and dance. Now, I'm a bit of a silly guy, and he says also a lap dance. Now, I'm a bit of a silly guy. I can see instances where I might want to grab my dog, and I have grabbed my dogs and just hugged on them a little bit, especially her because she on the dog stand, but I can see if they were on a chain, like slightly elevated off the ground, where I can sort of move them a little bit easier, where I can't see being silly with them and hugging on them and like dance with them for a second. So I actually think that's pretty cool that he has a horse that can hold up to 2,000 pounds. So that's just giving you a lot of assurance that the doll is not going to fall down. And hopefully you have it in the right place so it can actually hold the weight. He says he just moves a chair to that spot where he has the chain hanging if he wants to do a lap dance. He says he has another 2,000 pound hoist near the bed, where under the bed, excuse me, hold on. He says we're under the bed. He keeps a large Tupperware storage bin on wheels that he uses for a cleaning tub. He talks about the things he has in there: liquid cleaner, bottle rinse, squeeze, all type of stuff, right? Tampons. And he even talks about having a small wire that he uses to hold the orifices open so they can air dry at night or for the final dry. For the final dry, it doesn't say at night. Just he uses something to hold the openings open so they can dry quicker. And he uses that horse that's near the bed to suspend the dog, low over the tub for cleaning. And he says he uses that horse to help swing the dog to the horse that's right. Okay. He uses the horse that's close to his bed to swing it over to the horse that's like right over his bed. So it's crazy. I guess he gets the dog, uses the horse, gets the dog over the bed. He unclicks the horse and clicks the new horse up, and now the dog is hanging over his bed. So that's pretty cool. He said he already marked the spot where he is most comfortable, having a dog leg and where his pelvis is. He said he hung a weight on a string to find the spot like directly above his pelvis, I guess, to give him an idea where he wanted to actually hang the horse. So he going into some great detail here. And he starts talking about the process about drilling a hole into the stud and doing all this setup. He talking about adding boat cleats. Boat cleats on the bedpost to tie off the pull rope. So he's setting up a real big system to where, the dog can be hoisted over the bed. And, he says he can raise and lower the bed dog just by reaching over his head while laying down. So just by reaching over his head while laying down, he can let the dog up or down. So, I've seen, it's not something that's blowing my mind from the standpoint of, I've seen actually some videos of things like this before. Of course, I can't show these on YouTube, but share them. So I've seen stuff like this, but to hear him sort of go into detail about how to do it. See, if I was a guy that had some know-how, as far as like, if I was a hands-on guy, that's just really not my thing. I would always pay somebody, no offense, to do something like this. Somebody that's an expert in it. But it's some people out there, some of you out there, where you can sort of read some of his instructions and you could be like, hey, look, I can figure out how to do this. Or you could probably find some instructions somewhere else. But all in all, I think it's pretty cool, He has some spots in the house where he wants the dog to be suspended at, where he can, mess with the dog freely, dance with it, like he said. He got a spot close to the bed where he can clean the dog. He can also use that same hoist that's hanging from the ceiling to hook it up to the one that's right over his bed. He can operate it, lower the dog and raise the dog just from something that's over his head. And a pulley system that's right, over his head. I think that's pretty cool because you have to have the pulley system in place for the weight not to play as big of a part. Because if you just hang a string to the dog, it's going to be hard to pull that dog, with just straight force. But when you have that pulley system, it takes the pressure off at certain pressure points and allows you to pull that dog and make it seem a lot lighter. So him explaining it on here is absolutely amazing. So if you want to see more about that, all you have to do is go to my video, my last live stream, what men need from women. And this is where he made the comment at. Just check out the comments. He says something. He goes on later on and says, okay, he just goes on to say how he made it easy for him to pull the dog up and down. But he says he installed 3 smaller 400-pound hoists for $20 a piece. And thing is, 400 pounds, the 2,000-pound hoist that he had that we talked about earlier, they're way over the amount of weight you're going to be, that a normal dog is going to weigh. So it's good that you go way over the amount that the normal dog is going to weigh, because he can easily hang safely 3 dogs at least from that same position, depending on how it's set up. And it wouldn't get up to 400 pounds, just depending on the dogs that you're using. But he goes on to say he installed 3 smaller hoists in the ceiling beams nearest the walls for long-term storage and display. Okay. So he got some beams basically near the wall for long-term storage and display. He says he hoists the dogs up as high as they will go. He says he doesn't have to remove his pictures or paintings from the walls. They can still be seen, from wherever he has the dogs hanging from. And he says he has four more hoists on the wall, along the wall for future dogs, for storage purposes. Now he goes on to say, "Hey man, I use a 2,000-pound horse for the dogs because they're more durable, I guess, than the other dog, than the 400-pound horse." He says they're all very lightweight anyway, and come with well enough rope. So once again, I'm not a hardware guy, but I guess when you go buy these hoists or whatever, they already come with the rope included and things of that nature. So he's saying they come with enough rope, well enough. Okay, he says when a dog isn't hanging on one of the hoist, so to speak, he says you should always keep a weight hanging on the horse to keep the pulley from flipping over and twisting the ropes. Once again, this is highly technical. I'm not gonna read all the technical stuff, but if you somebody that knows what to do, you'll probably find a lot of this very informative. He just goes on to talk about how, once again, you should have the rope situated and things of that nature to keep it from messing up and keep it running properly. He's talking about some process called despringing the device. So once again, it's over my head, but it's still a great read, I don't think it'd be great for me to read that to you, but most of it is a great read. Okay. He said something about he uses some. I did want to say something about that. He said something about he uses some solid, thick rubber bungees in tandem with the hoist to give the dog some bounce. He said make sure you use enough to securely hang them. He says he used four thick ones, four thick rubber bungees for his 110-pound dog. Man, that's a heavy dog. He said, don't leave them hanging from the bungees. He said, after a day, they'll pull through the bungee loops. And once again, before I read any more, you read this and exercise your own caution when putting any of this in play. I'm not speaking for the safety of any of these techniques. I'm just reading it for the sake of entertainment. But if you do know how to work around the house, I'm sure that, you can figure out a way to make it work for you. But he was just talking about the hanging them from that bungee cord or the thick rubber bungee. He was like, after only a day, if you leave them hanging from that bungee, he said they'll pull it through the bungee. And keep in mind, his dog was 110 pounds too. He said he hasn't never had a dog break one of those just by bouncing it. He goes on to say, either way, that sounds like it's going to be risky using it. But it just depends on how active you are with your dog, whether you want to do some experimentations like he's talking about having a dog to be able to bounce up and down and stuff. Okay, he was talking about something else that was a trip. He was talking about the dog that he sort of enjoys having in bed most is a torso dog. It has thighs, no arms, no head. He said it's most convenient. In his opinion, it's the most convenient dog to have in a bed. He says it's his constant bed companion. It sounded like he got it hooked up to something though, because he said something. I put it all the way up to change the bed. Yeah, so he got it hooked up somehow too. He said, Lord, to just the right height of his pelvis, he can raise his knees up to support it from his chest. But either way, he talking about how he liked the torso without the head is his most uh convenient bed doll or bed companion. Which of course it probably is because it doesn't have legs or arms or even a head to get in the way. You know, I don't know. I've always been compared. I've said this a million times. I've always been compared to want a full doll. But you know, I can't understand having a torso doll for convenience. You know, especially if you live in a small apartment, or even having a torso doll before the technology really got to where it is now. But my thing with a torso doll is, you know, you can get a torso doll with the head now, and I think I would just want that. You know, I would want a torso doll with the head. It doesn't have to have the full arms. I would like the partial arms, a little arm or something, and I can take it being going down to the thigh. You know, I wouldn't mind having a and they do make those like that. Uh, but I do understand the convenience of having a torso doll without a head and arms and legs. I can understand how it's a very convenient doll to have in the bed. Oh, he said something about he's talking about how when he can pull the little pulley, he can get the doll and it just sits right. What he says, it sits right on his chest. He says, if I want, I can hold it to my face with one hand. He said, with a couple of pulls, I can raise it up or shove it to the side. He said, I can lower it behind a couple of small torsos next to me so it's completely out of the way when not playing with it. He said, lower to my side, she's arm candy while I watch TV or use the computer. he said, He said something about if he tie her off a little bit high, she can turn, move, and wiggle with the lightest touch. And he just goes on and starts to say something about how what he loves about the doll is basically, I'm just paraphrasing, how he loves to sort of bring them to life, you know, by having them situated in such a way that where, you know, when he touch them, they can be animated, you know. He says, in the doll's gratitude, they move in ways that comfort me and inspire. This is what he says, inspire me to engage with them more. In that sense, I'm engaged with my dolls. But the women I date are welcome to engage with them too. He said most of the women that he dates or whatever do engage with the dolls. Now, this is just what he said. He said, this is the way to go with these dolls. Once again, I don't speak in those type of absolutes because I don't feel like there is a certain way that you have to go with the dolls, because I don't even engage in mine, like you say, in the sexual matter. So you don't have to engage in a certain way, but I will say just the way he has his dolls situated is definitely a way to go. You know, I was just saying, like when he says the women he date and you know he let them deal with the dolls too. I was just saying that ain't necessarily got to be the way. It's a way, and there's nothing wrong with that way. But you don't have to go that way. But the way he has them set up, I think is pretty damn cool. Because, like I say, it is still part of my dream to have some sort of a ceiling system involved with my girls, to where I can sort of do maybe not exactly what he's doing, but some similar things, to where I can have the dolls situated in certain places where I want them to be situated from. I want my pulley system to be a bit more high tech, but a similar idea for how I want to use them. I want to be able to use it and have my dolls situated around the house and have them just easily accessible. And you know, my whole ceiling would probably look like a railroad track, but I think it'd be cool to be able to, like I say, hook them up from the ceiling and move them from room to room, you know, without having to pick them up at all. That is letting you guys in on one of the secret things that I think about. But when I think about that in reality, man, the ceiling had to look like a damn railroad track to probably have the dog moving in and out of different rooms. But it is still a dream of mine. So he brought a lot to life with that. So I appreciate, you know, him for his thoughts. And like I say, check in with him if you got some ingenuitive questions. You know, I don't know this guy personally or anything, but you know, if you're somebody that's fixing stuff at home, you know, maybe you can message him, and you know, since he likes fixing things, he may give you some advice on or give you some ideas for what he does, and you can use your own expertise while you're making something. But I think that's the true that's a true gift, being able to just fix things and make things. And if you're in a dog life and you're already like some sort of a carpenter and you're used to making things or even building homes, so to speak, and this is just something that's sort of second nature to you, man, you can do some amazing things to set up a perfect, what I call the companion dog paradise for your dogs. You know, for me, I would say my paradise is just having been involved with the dogs, having some dogs. You know, it's a paradise just having them. Now, I don't yet have them in the perfect places that I would like to display them in and things of that nature. I would like all of them to be displayed a lot better than I have them at present date. And I think once I can get them displayed properly and have them sort of set up right all the time, then that'll depict my more physical paradise that I have planned for the dogs. But until then, I'm like everybody else, you know, doing the best with whatever we got at the time being. You know, some people can't even add to their dog family because they may live in a small apartment or something like that. And they like, man, I can only get 2 dogs or 3 dogs right now, or 1 dog. So we all sort of have to play out our fantasies as due to what we have and what our living situations are right now. And there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. But it's also nothing wrong with dreaming and getting ideas and making small improvements. Maybe you don't do the whole house. Maybe you put a hoist up somewhere in one room, because that's ultimately, even if I don't get a pulley system that's just able to go from room to room immediately, one thing I definitely do want at some point is just somewhere where it's at least one chain or something hanging from the ceiling. You know, that's my starting point. Of course, I want the whole system, and I would take a burst of God's goodness to where I can get the whole system at once. But you know, at the very least, I'm going to get something started at some point. You know, and I would love to have like right behind, you know, right over to the side of me, instead of leaning up against the wall, she could actually literally be hanging from a chain. You know, where I know it's nothing that's going to knock her down unless the damn ceiling falls through. So, with all that said, let's check in. I ain't checked in a while. You Scared Joe that says some googly eyes will patch that right up till you get replacements. Are you talking to James Krause, because James Krause dog eyes had popped out? Marquise Harkin says my live when I missed if you answered my question. Oh man, what was your question? Was it up here? Oh yeah, I answered it. You can go back and look at it. Yeah, I answered it. If you said something about Real Lady from Iron Tech, yeah. I answered that. And pretty much, I'm gonna answer most questions pretty much. Mr. Salmon says, besides the hoist for the lap dance, I recommend nice, comfy chair, a home stereo with subwoofer to play techno and some multicolor party lights that strobe. I don't know, for me, that's a bit much, but for some people that might be right up their alley. Me, like I say, even if I'm sexual with my dogs, I probably wouldn't be looking to get the lap dance. I think that's just a bit much. Because, man, these damn girls, even the lighter girls, they for me, they're already heavy enough. So to sort of get them hanging from one of these hoists, so to speak, get their legs hiced up or whatever, so they can actually, have their legs bent in so they can sort of give me some sort of a lap dance, and then just hook it up to where, she's sort of simulating some sort of a lap dance. For me, I just think it's a bit much. But once again, if you got the ability to set it up like that and it's nothing for you to do, be my guest. But I don't need the subwoofers to play techno. You funny though. He says a multi-color party lights like their strobe. I actually got a strobe light here, but it's a rare occasion I would ever, maybe for a video like I have done in the past. But once again, them strobe lights will have me probably getting dizzy at some point. I think the techno would be more if there's a crowd around. Maybe if you got other people around and she's giving you a lap dance. I don't think you really need the subwoofer for yourself, though, do you? Do you, Mr. Salmon? Nicola is it Dujik? I don't want to say the wrong thing here. I know sometimes the J sort of sort of pronounced a little silent like Duhik, but is it Dujik? I guess it's Dujik. Either way, I'm gonna stay away from the last name. What up, Nicola? Nicola says, I used to be a dog owner. Yeah, man. It's crazy because, like I say, if I was the type of dog owner that would have probably just got one dog, I could see myself probably being in and I was actually active with my dog, making love to him. I could see myself probably wearing one of my dogs out, and at some point, maybe I would be without a dog, But just having the nature that I have, sort of like with my toys, man, I'm always looking forward to something new, something different. So no matter whether I had this YouTube channel or not, I would have had more than one dog. So I feel like, especially by me not being physical with my dogs, even if a dog started to get old or whatever, I would always end up having at least another one somewhere. So with all that said, it'll take a lot for me to probably get to the point where I'm not a dog owner, because that would mean I would have to consciously either get rid of all of my dogs or let all of them start to, their life cycle start to end. Let's just say it's 10 years from now. I don't know how long the dogs last. I think they last a lot longer than that, to be honest. But if you're keeping them up, let's just say you start seeing some wear and tear on them. Let's just throw a number out there. Let's say 7 years. I see something where, okay, this dog is getting to look really bad. Now I need to get rid of it. I've heard some people say that even if you keep the dog up perfectly, some dogs will start to just seize up over time, where you can't even move them around anymore. So let's just say that starts to happen. And I just stop replacing all my dogs as that starts to happen, but that'll take a while, I can't see immediately not being a dog owner right now in the position I'm in. But if I had a dog and something happened, I could see not being a dog owner anymore. And I went on a tangent just because you said that one thing. Oh, the Kimmer Dog Deluxe. Go check out my video. I did a video on the Kimmer Dog Deluxe a while back. Just check out my companion dog review videos, and you should find a Kimber Dog Deluxe video. Oh, here it is. Yeah, you should find that Kimber Dog Deluxe video, and yeah, Kimber Dog Deluxe is pretty cool. You know, like I say, the only thing about the Kimber Dog is, even though it's crazy, they're all supposed to be the same, but they all have a little bit of difference in them. So, but yeah, you know, you can get the regular Kimber Dog, and you can get the Kimber Dog Deluxe, and the Kimber Dog Deluxe just has shrugging shoulders, and the skeleton can just move a whole bunch better, and it has articulated fingers and things of that nature. But go check out the video. But you know, like I said, the only thing negative about the Kimber Dog is, once again, even though they're all a little different, they have small, slight differences. They're pretty much they're all made to be the exact same to a certain degree. Like I say, some of their heads will look a little different than others, but they're pretty much the same dog, pretty much. And you can get a different head, you know, to change the look of the dog up. And it's a good made dog for the price. It's a great made dog for the price, to be honest. It's a good dog to start off in the dog game. But you know, like I say, the only negative is that, once again, they are all very similar. They're pretty much all the same. So that's pretty much it. That's the one negative. It's like you can't get a different type of body or things of that nature. They're all the same. So that's the only real negative, especially with the Kimber Dog Deluxe. Like I said, the only thing I don't love, they may have changed this too, but the only thing I don't love about the Kimber Dog Deluxe is the neck is a little too long. That's about it. But it's a pretty damn good dog though. So let's see. A box spring mattress. Now look at Plastic Beach. Now I don't know what context you were saying that in. Are you saying that there's something to bounce the doll on or something like that? I don't know what you trying to say. And that's partly my fault because I don't get to the comments quick enough sometimes. But whatever type of mattress you got, or combination you got, Plastic Beach, I've done videos on this before. One thing you better have is memory foam. That's the thing that allows your dog not to get damaged while she laying in the bed and stuff like that, or sitting in a chair, or, you know, if you got some memory foam, you are good to go. And full silicone dogs don't really get damaged like that too often. But if they have these gel butts, which they come with now, and things of that nature, you want them sitting on something soft, and that memory foam is the way to go. Nicholas says, I've had the standard one, but is it the same vaginal pattern? And you know what? I did the review on it. I can't quite remember. I don't know if it's the exact same. It may be the same, to be honest. It may be different though. But I will say this: it's a great vaginal pattern on both dogs. You know, I have never made love to them, but the Kimber dog it's a great vaginal pattern from what I looked at and examined. And I do remember seeing the Kimber Dog Deluxe. It's been a while. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't looked down there in a long time, so I can't remember off the top of my head. I do remember it was a nice vaginal pattern, though. You know, because you know, I said for the longest, I said, man, if I make a little to the dog, it's probably gonna be Callie first, my Kimber dog, just because it is something very inviting about the way they made her. But I ain't gonna lie, recently I've second thought that, because I've been thinking like, man, I don't know if I ever do. It could be my real dog, just because this real dog, it's a reason I've had her out for so long, you know, recently. This girl right here. It's a reason I've had her out for so long recently. Because, you know, not because I've been making love to her, it's just because I just been loving her, you know, just the way she made, the way she moved. you know, it is great hugging her in the morning. So I've been loving having my real dog out. I know my mom is probably ready to see somebody else come out, but the real dog been holding her on. I can't lie. Jay Montgomery says, "What up, Jay? I agree with the convenience of the torso. I recently got one since my full size girls are more awkward to move. Yeah, you know what? Like I say, I usually sleep with a girl in bed, you know, for the most part. And every now and then I put my hands around them and stuff. But I think in the back of my mind, I already know that, you know, I'm not trying to move around with the full size dog, you know. I'm not trying to damage fingers or, you know, I'm not even trying to get them in different positions and stuff, you know. I usually just have one laying flat on her back or whatever. And I put my arm around her sometimes. But with the torso, man, you can be all over the bed with a torso. You know, you can sleep wild. You ain't got to worry about breaking her fingernails or, you know, it's not going to be as hard to move her around in different positions and stuff like that. So that's why I say I'm not against getting a torso myself. At some point, I'm sure I will have one. And it should make a great bed partner, like you said. I agree with you, Jay. I definitely believe it will allow for a better sleep, if nothing else. If nothing else. Plastic Beat says, "Let the momentum do all the work." Yeah, I think she was talking about the pulley system when she was talking about let the momentum do all the work. Marquis Harkham says, "Man, I think he's trying to say they're the most realistic dogs out there." I think he's asking about real lady dog, and you know, once again, I love them and wouldn't have anything negative to say about Iron Tech and their products, but no, they are not the most realistic dog, in my opinion. They are not. You know, it's somebody that I did a show about a while back where I said I think that they were the best. But you know what? I'm gonna do another show where I reveal to you who I think is probably leading, you know, right now in the industry. He said, "Can I do a couple of reviews on them?" Well, to do a review on Real Lady Doll, I had to actually get, you know, I can't talk about the product, which I had before a long time ago. But to do a real review, I would have to, you know, they would have to send me one of the products to do the review on. And if they ever did that, of course, I've always told the owner that if he ever want me to do another review, I'd definitely do it. I would love to do it, as a matter of fact, on Real Lady Dog, because it is a whole different division within Iron Tech, because they have their regular silicone division, which I'm going to talk about my dog in the upcoming video, but she's a regular silicone dog from Iron Tech. Right after I got that dog, that's when they told me they was coming out with this new line of dog called Real Lady Dog. And I was like, man, that's cool. And I even told them back then, hey, I would love to do a review, but as of right now, they haven't got back to me about that. But if I get a chance, I definitely do a review on a Real Lady Dog. Steve O, my big number one contributor. Great to have you, Steve O. He says, "Hey Jay, glad to be with you, man. Glad to have you, Steve. You know, all of my Dog King Army team members who contribute every month, they always support me in a major way. But Steve O is, you know, he definitely goes above and beyond. So I want to appreciate him. I want to appreciate everybody out there that has used any of my links, you know, to buy dolls, going through great vendors. They're found on in the about section on the front page of my YouTube channel. Steve has done it and others have done it. I appreciate you guys, because you're going to get a doll anyway. If you're going to go through a legitimate source, you may as well use my vendors. Recently, I had to let go of a good vendor of mine, Joy Love Dolls. They're a great vendor, but something was going on with their link. So I actually have to get back in contact with them, because they did reach back out to me. So I have to get back in contact with them, and hopefully they'll join the Dog King Army family again, Dog King family again as a vendor. Right now, they're on hold, but I still have a lot of great vendors to choose from. So appreciate you, Steve, for checking in, brother. Skipper says, what up to everybody? Let's see what else we got here. There you go. He says, I'm here. DP Samu 2000. What up, man? Yeah. This the guy who I was talking about, who had all the great ideas with the hoist system and things of that nature that was set up for his dog. So I read all about what you had to say, DP Samu. I thought it was very interesting how you had your dog set up. I did tell people if they want to ask you more about it, they can ask you more about it. Even on here, I'm gonna hang out for just a little while longer, but definitely they can contact you. Maybe even in the comment section on here, they may reach out to you if it's somebody that really knows how to fix a room up like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, DP Samuel. I believe there's a lot of people out there like me who don't have a clue on how to set up pulleys and things of that nature. And some people actually may have a talent for doing stuff like this, and they don't know they have the talent. Me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know I'm not a guy that's great with his with building and stuff. So I would get somebody to fix it for me. But if you somebody that's good with your hands, you got equipment at home, you got supplies at home, you feel good with building stuff. That setup that Samu has is amazing. I know I'm gonna do something like Samu, but in my own way. But believe me, it's gonna be somebody building it for me. I guarantee you that. Grant Yantis says, what do you think of loose joint dogs for natural movement? Well, it's crazy because I got a real dog sitting over here, and this girl moves supernaturally, right? And her joints are tight as ever. And I asked for tight joints because tight joints just keeps your dog, over time the joints are going to get loose anyway, and I don't want my dogs to be loose from the beginning, right? But even with tight joints, this girl moves so supernaturally, right? Well, I've seen these other dog companies where they say, hey, you can get the loose joints. And like you say, when I see them move the dogs with the loose joints, to me, it's similar to what the real dog can do, but it's not the same thing. Because the real dog, she doesn't just have loose joints to make her feel realistic. And it's hard to sort of put it in perspective, but it doesn't have anything to do with the loose joints to make her move realistic. You have to pick one up to see what I'm talking about. But when you pick a real dog up, it's just so similar to what a human feels like, and it has nothing to do with loose joints. So when I see these videos where I've seen these dog companies sort of say, hey, do you want loose joints or tighter joints? I always say to myself, well, the joints are loose, but that doesn't really make it seem more realistic to me. In some cases, I guess you can say that, but for me, it doesn't make it seem a whole bunch more realistic. But if it makes it seem more realistic for you, then you have to sort of judge the trade-off. Because if you do opt for loose joints, this dog is not going to stand up like this dog behind me. And if you do get her propped up somehow to stand up with loose joints, well, it's a chance of her toppling over a lot easier than a dog with stiffer joints and that's made to stand. Because I think I even was looking at this on a dog option recently. I think if you get the loose joints, that they tell you that, hey, this dog cannot stand with loose joints. They pretty much say that, hey, this dog, when you get loose joints, it's not meant to stand. So if you're going to get loose joints, you may as well don't even get standing feet. You might as well just get the feet that don't stand and, have them looking and feeling as realistic as possible. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody that decides to go with loose joints, because I do sort of agree that it can add maybe some more realism as far as when you're flopping a doll around in bed or something, it can probably add a little bit more realism in that regard. Uh, but for me personally, I feel like I got way more advantages having my dog with stiffer joints and her being able to stand up, unless it's a real dog. Unless it's a real dog, because she has her own stand. You know, I don't have to worry about her standing up. Now, if you get a dog with loose joints, and you hook her up to a pulley system, or just something that maybe allows her to stand and allow you to just sort of display her in a different way than just having to lay on the bed, then that would allow you to be a little bit more versatile with a girl with loose joints. I went on a long tangent. I just say loose joints isn't for me per se, but I do see why you would want a girl with loose joints. I can see the argument for having it. But for me, I like a girl with stiffer joints, a girl that I can stand up, you know, and things of that nature. Or either, like I said, a real doll, even though she's in a whole different price range. But what I love about the real doll is, even though she doesn't have loose joints, by the way, but even though she has this realistic movement, she can't stand up, but at least I do have the doll stand that's made to have her standing up. So let's keep it rolling. He said you haven't seen the new ones. You talking about Real Lady Doll? Yeah, I have. He said no show to pick like you do with others. Nah, I don't want to go digging through the pictures right now. With Real Lady Doll, I don't really want to go digging through them. I mean, but maybe I will. Hold on, let me go through some more comments. Maybe I will. I'll go look at a couple of them with you. Any questions about Horse? DP Samu says. He says, I sent mine to college, SMU, Sex Mannequin University. She studied to be a plastic surgeon. Glad to catch you live, Doc King. SEB7, another Doc King Army team member. Lucky to have your beautiful presence with us, SEB7. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. James Cross says, my Ellie doll, Starprey silicone doll, has a super realistic body. Oh, yeah, I love Starprey. They're a great company. One of my favorite companies as well. Power drill and ladder. Okay, yeah. He's talking about supplies you need to put these hoists up on your ceiling and stuff like that. And I can't lie, DP Samu. Once again, I know it's probably relatively easy, but when you're dealing with a person like me, all of that easy stuff get hard real fast. You know, so I can't lie. I just sort of learned my lesson. Something I don't even want to talk about right now, to be honest, but I did something not long ago, some months ago, where I just said, forget it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this work with my hands and fix this little thing that happened, right? And the person was sort of telling me, like you, DP Samu, oh man, it's easy. Go ahead and do it. You got it. I did it, and it didn't go well. But I had already knew, hey, I'm not the greatest when it comes to fixing stuff. So what I learned from that lesson is, you know what, Jay? It's things we are great at, and it's things that we're not as good at. And there's nothing wrong with being not as good at certain things, but you got to know what those things are. And after messing that last thing up, I said, you know what? Especially when it comes to drilling some holes in my house, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to know when to say when. And it is many of you out there that probably are good with a power drill, a ladder, and making the right choices and finding the right studs to drill. Go right on ahead. Me, I'm going to look at what you're talking about, and when the time comes, I'm going to be paying somebody to do it the right way. I'm going to go through one of my links right quick. because I'm finna just go through a couple of my links and see if I can find me some. Let me see something right quick. See if I can find some just a few pictures of Real Lady Doll before I get out of here. And see, I'm not talking bad about them in any way. I like them, but I just want to go through a few of their pictures to show. Since my friend said to go through a couple of their pictures, I will go through a couple of their pictures and just talk to you about what I feel about them. So for all that's interested, I'm going to my main page. I'm going to my about section. And it's a spot that says show more links under my about section. And I'm going under there. I see Better Love Doll, the first vendor, Rosemary, Silicone Lovers, blah, 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 Your Doll, Sexy Real Sex Dolls, Real Sex Dolls, Silicone Wives. I'm still looking on here. I thought somebody else was supposed to be on here. Either way, I got to add Real Doll. I'm going to go to one of these. I'm just going to go to Better Love Doll. Okay, Real Lady Doll. Okay. I got to make sure don't nothing explicit pop up here. Let me see what this girl look like. Music. I don't want to hear the music. She's showing me. I don't want to hear that music. Do I hear it no matter what, though? Do I hear it if I go to that page? And I know y'all can't see the page I'm going to. I'm just okay, yeah. So I can't go there. Maybe I can just see some images. I wish I could just get into my Instagram from right here. Let's see if I can get in my Instagram. Cause I know they on there somewhere. What is it? Is it this? I have no idea. I might just have to say forget it. It won't let me in, man. I was gonna show a few pictures of that. One more time here. Oh, it won't let me in. Well, okay, I won't do that thing. But yeah, like I say, I was gonna try to share a few pictures of a Real Lady Doll, but they good. It's just that they models just don't really move me. You know, they don't really move me like that. There's a few of them, couple of them I like. You know, a few of them I really like. You know, but for the most part, I just had high hopes for the facial models. That's all. Not the skin textures or none of that technology. Because once again, Iron Tech is top of the line. Went down them one bit, but it's just a couple of it's just some, when you say are they the best, that's when I was like, nah, they ain't the best for me. That's the thing. They just ain't the. It's some other companies that I think that are a bit better, but that ain't saying nothing negative. It's just, you know, it's a lot of companies out there. So to be at the top, which they are, they still are one of the top companies. They're still saying a whole hell of a lot. Captain Bob says, me and my dog have the same thing in common. We both have tight joints. Yeah, I'm a tight joint guy, personally. I always go with tight joints. DP Samuel says, as I said, I should do. Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on what you want to do, DP. This video making ain't for everybody. I will say that. It's sort of like anything else in life, man. Sometimes you just gotta do what you feel like is in your heart to do. That's all I can say. Because I was actually laughing when I was getting this live together today. I was like, man, it's so funny because it's so much more that goes into this than people think it does, and not only just the work to set up a live stream or shoot a video or whatever. It's just a lot in the desire department. That's really the biggest one of the biggest things is the desire department. Do you even got it in you? Now some people may post a video or something, one or two, and never post a video again in their life, but those videos may actually help somebody. So I would never dissuade somebody from putting out any video they want to put out. But just the whole act of putting videos out, it is it can be a daunting task. But when you love it, it's not as bad. I will say that. So a lot of people don't find out things they love to do because they never try them, But that's what makes it so great about this world. Is finding whatever you love to do. And that way, no matter what you get from it, no matter what type of good things can come from it, that doesn't determine whether you do it or not. You do it because you actually love to do it. So that's why I get so much out of my channel, is because, it's not what I get out of anything. It's about, hey, step number one is I love doing it. So because, it ain't easy as it may look, and not only this, but everything in life is not as easy as it looks. Becoming an athlete, a singer, a truck driver, a warehouse worker, whatever you might be doing ain't as easy as it seems, to be honest with you. Oh, yes. I have seen them, and my vendors do actually. They one of the brands I was going to talk about coming up. But yeah, they seem to be a nice brand from what I see. Top Fire Dolls. They seem to be a nice brand, and my vendors actually do carry them, so you can actually go check them out. Gavin Powers, he says, "Do you do men?" Now that's a hell of a statement. Are you meaning do I cover male companion dogs? Because yes, I will talk about them and cover them, and I have talked about them in the past. And every one of my vendors, has brands that sell men companion dogs. So if you're looking for a male companion dog, you can definitely go through my vendors, because they do actually have male companion dogs for sale, and they are getting better and better. I will say this, just glancing at something, and I'm gonna talk about this at another time, but glancing at some of the male dogs I've seen, they are getting better at the ability to make male companion dogs. Either way, I'm over an hour, so I don't want to keep drawing this out too long. DP Samu says, that's why I was telling you about it. You're already set up for it. Talking about, I guess, having the girls already. Right. You know, I actually got the girls, but, you know, I would have to get the hoist system and all of that stuff in place. But I still see a bigger, you know, once again, I wouldn't let a bigger dream stop me from putting anything in place, you know. That's why I was saying, you know, even though I may come into a bigger dream later, I could come into the bigger dream all at once. But no matter what, at some point, I'm not going to let a bigger dream keep me from getting something in place. And that's why I say I want at least one chain hanging from the ceiling somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But even so, I'm not going to put it, I'm not going to fix it, Samu. I'm going to let somebody else do it, like I said. I can't even hear what he, I don't know what this means, Captain Bob. You said my dog just came in here with VI. Agree. I don't know what that means. You said it's Geritol and speed. Now that's I don't know. Oh, I know what you're saying now. I was slow to catch on. He says my dog came here with Viagra. That's what he's talking about. Viagra, Geritol, and speed. I think she means business. Yeah, if she came in there with something like that, she definitely means some business. Marquise Harcum says, "Oh, you're right. I was mostly talking about the skin texture. He was talking about. I know he was sort of suggesting about Real Lady Dog, and I was just telling him about how make no mistakes about it. I'm a big Iron Tick Dog fan, and one of their big things they have going on right now is their brand of silicone dog, which is a higher level of silicone dog called Real Lady Dog. And if you later whatever, I was talking to Marquise, I was like saying, hey, I love Real Lady Dog. I just was I'd known about them so long. I think I just had more hopes for the face choices. But at the same time, they are the highest, you know, their quality and what they're doing is of the utmost quality as far as like you talking about their skin texture and just everything they're trying to do to make the dog seem more real. It's to be commended. It's right up there at the top. But I still do think it's somebody that I still would take above them. But when I look at Iron Tech Dog's price platform and things of that nature, where what they're giving you for the price, it's right there as being second to none in that area. I will admit to that. Deepu Samu said, I know it's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated for people like me, Deepu Samu, the hoist, you know, putting a hoist system in place in your room or in your house. It probably sounds complicated to people like me who aren't the best at doing that type of work. But I bet to a carpenter or somebody who's used to building things and putting things up in the house, I bet it's not as complicated at all. Oh yeah, Captain Bob, you said it where I can understand it better. I figured it out late. Sorry about that. But he said if I Agra, Geritol, and speed, I think she means. But you're right. I caught on to it late. Sorry, Captain Bob. It was my bad. DP Samuel says, I'm mad. I mean, he said, I think he's trying to say, I've made. Yeah, I think he was trying to say I've made pretty well-known 3D pinups, but the video is complicated even for me. I figured out, oh, yeah. It just depends on what you want to do. You know, that's all I can say right now. I'm gonna make some videos about this in the future. That's why I'm not harping on it too much. But when it comes to the video and making a video and all that type of stuff, like if it's something you want to do, you believe me, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. There's plenty of videos about how to do it actually on YouTube. So You'll figure it out. It depends on if you want to do it. But just remember, like you said in the comments, it's so many things that YouTube will black out and or get you up off the platform, just depending on what you're doing and how you're saying it, how you're presenting it. So got to watch out there. That's all I can say when you're dealing with this subject matter. But with all that said, the whole nature of this whole show was just about how my guy Deepu Samu, much props to him and thank you for that comment. You know, I guess he's an example that I do read the comments and stuff like that, but he just really sparked the whole thought of, man, what is your personal paradise for your girl? How would you set it up? You know, would you want hoists and things of that nature to hang your girls from in your house? What are the things you're looking to do? You know, it's cool to just decorate a room, but, you know, you might have bigger plans, things that you may not even have the finances for, but just, you know, I love to see things like Deepu Samu only because it just makes you think of, oh, greater possibilities. What do I really want to do to enhance my life with the companion dogs? You know, whether you're having sex with them, not having sex with them, you know, how do you want to display them? How do you want to interact with them? So he brings a lot to the table with his statement that he made. It's things that I think about all the time, and I just thought, hey man, let me pop in for a little while on a Wednesday night. Have a good conversation with you guys, chop it up, and get the hell out of here, which is what I'm finna get ready to do right now. DP Samu says, could you explain your video setup? Oh, maybe one day I'll do a video about it, but once again, just to be honest with you, what anybody needs to do if you really want to do a video, I just say this: just look it up. It's plenty of tutorial videos out there on, you know, just how to shoot a video and what to go about doing and what you need. And, you know, it really comes down to your desire to do it, and, you know, and things of that nature after that's concerned. So maybe one day I will talk about how I do it. Believe me. I think you all would laugh about it. But until then, it's a lot of other people who have great tutorial videos out there for you to check out. Believe me, just do a little quick search and you'll find it. Captain Bob says, do you remember I do custom leather work in belts, pocketbooks, things like that? Captain Bob. I don't know if I do remember, Bob. You said, do you remember I do custom leather work? That do sound something that sounds familiar. That does sound familiar to me, Bob. But I can't lie. It sounds like it's been a long time ago since we actually talked about that. But that sounds familiar. But like I say, if you're doing any type of work with your hands, hell, that stuff Dip Samu was talking about, you might be able to catch on to. But like I said, you know, I'm not going to stretch this out any further. It's been a hell of a time. Hope you had a great time. Once again, if you're looking to get a companion dog, you can check the About section on the front page of my YouTube channel. I got a lot of great vendors. Man, sorry I couldn't. I'm going to have to work on my Instagram. I forgot my password and stuff. I'm going to have to get my Instagram pulled up so I can go put up pictures and things of that nature a little bit better and a little bit easier. All the stuff on this computer got knocked off, and I forgot about my Instagram, so I got to get that fixed. But with all that said, it's still a lot more things that I'm gonna have a live stream about in the future. We're gonna have some fun. I do got a video I got to get ready for you guys. Hopefully I had it ready by this weekend. But other than that, man, have a great evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. A lot of good sports coming up this week. We got the WNBA playoffs coming up. We got NFL football this weekend. We got American college football coming up this weekend. So a lot to enjoy. Until next time, have a good one. God bless you. Remember, whatever you're believing for, hoping for, wishing for, God will provide it. All you got to do is believe it, and you will receive it. But as of right now, it's been me, JayDollKingHefner, the alluring Alundra, my fan real dog. Over my right shoulder and over my left shoulder, I have the beautiful Ramai Cloud, my real dog. We finna get the hell up out of here. It's been great. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for all the interactions. Like I say, leaving your comments on my videos. I'm paying attention. I'm looking. And you never know when your comment might spark me to do a live stream or do a show or anything like that. So I appreciate all of you, man, for contributing in all of your special ways. Thank you for all my Dog King Army team members. Love you. But as of right now, I'm going to get the hell up out of here. Have a good one, y'all.